Hi everybody, welcome to From Ash to Air Tarot. It's been a little while. I wanted to come on and share with you a walkthrough today of two amazing oracle decks that I've been working with this summer. They're by the artist Cathy Nichols, and she has two oracle decks out, the story cards and the Synchronicity Deck. And I picked up both of them this summer, and I've been working with them and integrating them a lot this season because I think that Cathy's style really appeals to this particular season for me. This is just my personal opinion, but they really feel like summer cards. They just seem to match the colorful, dense, and sort of intense light of summertime. Remind me of summer sunsets and times at the beach, and just all of the rich colors of summer kind of seem to come through in these two decks. So I've been using them a lot, and I wanted to just do a walkthrough so you guys could get a look at them. I haven't seen too many walkthroughs of these decks. So we're going to start with the story cards. I have to say that I have opened these cards already. Obviously, I've been working with them, but I have to say that when they arrived, there's some really nice detailing in the packaging and whatnot. But I honestly am not a fan of the tuck boxes, and this has a tuck box. Main reason is that I like to keep the boxes of all my cards, even if I don't store them in the boxes, and if I decide to store them in bags or in boxes that wooden boxes or other types of ways to store my cards, I still like to have the original box. And I am, I know some people are very minimalist, but especially with indie decks, I really do appreciate nice packaging, because the reality is that for the most part, we do spend a little bit more money for an independent deck. And there have been times where I've received indie decks, and I know that they don't have the big guns of spending on marketing and packaging that, a larger publishing house would. But nevertheless, you get this amazing deck of cards, and it comes in this like little tuck box, so that's just my personal opinion. I've already opened it. I don't like reclosing them because it's so fragile here that it can rip really easily. You have to be really careful when you open these kinds of boxes. So in order to keep the integrity of the box, I chose to keep it open. So let's take a look at these cards. So when you get the story cards, you get a little card here that explains how to do a spread. So this is called the story spread, and it's similar to a Celtic cross, just without the cards on the side. So your main issue, the conflict, past, present, future, and then resolution. And then the cards do come with a little booklet, and each card is represented on the booklet. There's just a little blurb that Cathy Nichols has written here. It says, "Story is our oldest tool for telling us who we are, yet often our inner vision is dimmed or erased entirely by the demands of modern society. When this happens, we lose our memories, childhood dreams, and intuition that could guide us to a more joyful, meaningful way of being. I painted each of these story cards to help me connect with my own inner voice. They represent archetypal experiences that we all share in our life's journey." And then she goes on to say how she suggests you use the cards. Just like any oracle deck, you can find your own way of integrating these into your readings. You can match them up with other decks. So I think that, it's pretty much all you really need. The cards are pretty self-explanatory because they have keywords on them, but she does give at least a sentence per each card. The backs are really not reversible, but then again, the cards are really not intended to be reversible. Let's go through them. Box of Rain. I'm going to move my camera down a little bit so that you can get a nicer view of the cards. There we go. And I'll go through them fairly quickly. Balance. Nurture. Travel. Growth. Adoration. Flow. Serenity. I love that card. Look at those colors in that card. Oh my goodness. It's a summer sunset right there by the beach. Love. Longing. This is another card that I really like. I love the imagery of it, with the Ferris wheel in the background and this little bird just sort of like sitting alone in this little field in the middle of a city. I don't know why, but you know, it's the same reason that we all have for why we are attracted to particular decks and to particular artwork. But there, you know, there's always like one or two cards. If you do see a walkthrough or you look at a deck that a friend has, usually there's one or two cards that draw you in to want to purchase that deck. And this was one of those cards for me, because I don't know, it just haunted me, this image. Explorer. Rooted. I also really like this as well, this interpretation. I just love Union. I just love her style. I love the saturated colors. Some of them are horizontal. This one is really interesting, Duality. This one you could stare at for quite some time. Just out of curiosity, let me read what her booklet says about this card. Opposites, black and white, inner and outer, bad and good, etc., inform one another and spur change. Recognition of the shadow. But this butterfly here, you see, is connected to this wire that the shadow side is holding. And then there's this little box up here, and I don't know if you can see, but the word manifestation is written on this box. It's just really interesting. Mother. Opportunity. Wisdom. I love this card too. Neighbor. So many wonderful images in this card, in this deck. The Artist. Unity. I love how you don't realize how you're united sometimes, and that's what this image says to me. So, you know, we've got this house sitting on the surface, but underneath the lake that is connected to the earth, there's all this life going on underneath the surface of the water. It's just beautiful. uncertainty, work. Well, not too many of us have experienced this in a while with COVID happening in the world, but that's definitely the hustle and bustle. Doesn't that card give you that energy of working, being productive and focused? It's so interesting. Crossing. Faith. Release. Let me move these out to try new piles so that you can see them much clearer. Intuition. Another gorgeous card with saturated colors. I just love it. Thinker. Selling out. Oh, I'm sorry, setting out. Well, that was a little Freudian slip, wasn't it? Healing. Seeking. Yes. Nature boy. Solitude. Trust. And each one of her cards, in my opinion, tells a story. So they're aptly named the story cards. They really do. Frozen. Kindred. Sunshine Girl. Friendship. Well-being. Every time I work with this deck, I almost feel surprised every time I work with it, because I feel like it's always the first time when I work with it, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, I feel bonded to the deck, but the artwork always jumps out at me as being sort of new to me again. Like every time I draw from it, I just feel like I'm seeing the artwork for the first time, and it fascinates me because it draws me in so much. I get a very big emotional charge, like this card, Waiting. It really stirs something in me. I mean, this tree and just the whole composition with the white dress, it's just, I don't know. I really, really like her work. Joy. Beauty. Wildflower. Cyclist. Serendipity. Mystic. Beginnings. Metamorphosis. Fierce. Surfer. Confidence. Soulfulness. Take this pile away. Dreamer. Gratitude. I'm going to go a little faster now so that we have time to get to the next deck. There are some of her cards are very jubilant, you know, in terms of the design and the color, and then others are like this one, Magic. Look at fabulous. Fabulous use of, I love her use of color. And then others are very haunting, like this one, Loss. A lot of emotion comes through these cards, I feel, through the imagery. And there's the Storyteller card. And those are the story cards by Cathy Nichols. And I think that this deck is really a great oracle deck. I haven't seen too many people talk about it in our tarot community, so that's why I wanted to do a little walkthrough of it. Let's move on to the next deck that Cathy has out. This one is newer than the story cards. It came out afterwards. It's called the Synchronicity Deck. And in fact, it's been said that you can pair this with the story cards. You can mix them and use them as one master deck if you want to. It comes in this cute little organza bag. And it comes with a dice. A die? Dice or die. Which she recommends that you roll to decide what kind of a reading you're going to do for that particular day. So I'm going to gently take these out. It does come as well with a little booklet. And what it says here is, the term synchronicity was popularized by psychologist Carl Jung to explain meaningful coincidences. It's when events in the external world reflect causes originating in the unseen landscapes of the mind and or the spiritual realm. When you use an oracle deck, you look for synchronicities between the cards you pull and your own life. With this deck, I wanted to enhance the magic of the cards by courting synchronicity in the creative process itself. So I invited the universe to co-create this deck with me by using dice, game spinners, random color palettes, and intuitive painting as part of each piece. You can learn more about my process, and she talks about her website here, cathynichols.com. And she has actually created a course, Create Your Own Oracle Deck e-course on her website. You can look into that and learn a little bit about how you can be inspired to paint or create your own deck. And then, of course, she talks about using the cards, and then it's just like the story card. She gives you an explanation, like a sentence per card. But there are lots of cards in these decks, so you really don't need much because you don't want to over inundate yourself with, I feel sometimes with oracle decks, you want to keep them dreamy and more open and intuitive. We'll go through these. I just love the expression of that girl, Rebel. She just looks so resolved. Ready. And as I said, you can choose to purchase these decks separately. you know, if you prefer one over the other. Or you can purchase both and combine them together and use them as one large oracle deck, because they do complement each other. Some have repetitive phrases, but not all of them do, like shaman. I mean, there's the magician. She does have some a lot of cards in the Synchronicity deck that are not in the story cards deck. Sorry, I don't know why I have so many upside down. Oops, sorry. Communication. Bravery. Gather. I love that card. So interesting. Gentleness. Oh, I forgot to mention, it was stuck in the middle of the deck. This is how she suggests that you use the dice. Think of a question, roll the dice, and use it to pick the number of cards and its corresponding layout. And then she tells you if you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 on the dice, on the die, then this is the corresponding reading, or layout, I should say. That's a great card too, Wildness. Anyway, I'm trying to just sort of be quiet and allow you all to just absorb her artwork and just be able to kind of study the cards. I think they speak for themselves. I really don't have to say much. I love this one, Winter. This is one of my favorites. It reminds me of back home where I grew up, which is on the East Coast of the United States. I love this one too, Finder of Lost Things. And that's a beautiful card too, the Empress. some nods to the tarot here, but for the most part, I mean, it is indeed an oracle deck. But she did bring in some of the energies of tarot. Oops, jumping ahead, jumping ahead. Yes, I believe she has the seasons in this deck. Summer, just saw summer. That's a really cute card too, brother. Such emotion in these cards, really, truly. There's fall, how pretty. Speaking truth. The story the parrot told. Incantation. That's a little tongue-in-cheeky, but I love it. So there you have it. Those are the Synchronicity cards by Cathy Nichols, Synchronicity Oracle. Two really amazing oracle decks that I don't hear much about in our online community of tarot, and I wanted to bring a little more attention. Cathy's been around for a while. She's got a great website. She's got a lot of really cool offerings on her website. Like I said, she has courses, artistic courses, an oracle deck creation course, all sorts of cool stuff. You should really check it out. Check out these decks. For those of you that are tarot enthusiasts, I think you will really find them a really valuable set to add to your oracle collection. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I will see you again soon. Bye.